Hey everybody, how's it going? My name is Derek. Today is March 3rd of 2019. This video, I'm going to be sharing some research that I've been doing for the past several weeks into the spelling of dates on our calendar and how the moon is attributed this way. So what we're going to be looking at in this presentation is, for starters, ancient Hebrew Gematria and Greek isopsephy. We're not going to be including a whole lot from either of these languages, just enough to show you how the moon is attributed in English. The other ciphers we're going to be focusing on, the one at the top of your screen is called Jewish Gematria, which is based on the original Latin alphabetic order. Of course, Latin was one of the primary languages in the world for many, many hundreds of years, and is essentially the transition between Greek and Hebrew and the current 26-letter English alphabet. In English, the two ciphers that we'll be focusing on are the most basic. The first one is called English Ordinal, which simply numbers each letter 1 through 26 relative to its position in the alphabet. And then the full reduction method, which uses the rules of numerology to reduce each double-digit number to a single digit. This is also called Pythagorean Gematria. And you'll see this cipher is only numbered 1 through 9. So let's get started. I think this video will be very enjoyable for those of you who are really interested in the roots of Gematria and how it was used to, again, craft the numbers, the way we spell them, the dates on the calendar. The current calendar that we use is the Gregorian calendar. And in the language of Gematria, you'll notice that Gregorian has a reduction value of 58. The word calendar, using the alphabetic order, equals 58. Freemasonry sums to 58 in the reduction method. It's the most ubiquitous secret society, which sums to 58. And while modern Freemasonry was not technically around when the calendar was crafted by the Jesuit order, the numerology of Freemasonry certainly is embedded in the same ideas, the same roots. So let's discuss these numbers and where they come from. First of all, the basic numerology of the moon. If you follow the moon in its path through the sky, you'll find that it has a maximum declination of 28.5 degrees, both north and south of the equator. This means throughout the course of a year, the moon will travel 57 degrees. Using the alphabetic order, the letter M is the 13th, O the 15th letter, and N the 14th. If you add up all the numbers in the word moon, it sums to 57. In Latin Gematria, when you write out the word 57, you get a gematria value of 1361. 1361 is a prime number, and throughout the course of this presentation, we'll be discussing prime numbers and how significant they are to the study. 1361 is the 218th prime number. Well, why is this significant? When tracing the gematria of the word moon from English back into the Hebrew language, we find that the word moon in Hebrew has a gematria value of 218. Furthermore, when you write out the word moon in Latin Gematria, you get a value of 170. Using the current 26-letter alphabet, when you write out 170, it's the first number to have a gematria value of 218, using the alphabetic order. So the word moon, with this value 218, which is attributed in both Latin and English Gematria. Well, now we're going to turn our eyes to the calendar. Think about the date 218. This would be the 18th of February. Using the alphabetic order, 18th of February sums to 218. However, you may be thinking, I don't call it 18th of February, I call it February 18th. Also in the alphabetic order, February 18th equals 197. Now, before we get to the significance of 197, we need to understand the moon's relationship to the number 666. For starters, take a look at the equatorial radius of the moon, 1,738.1 kilometers. If you take this measurement and convert it to miles, you find you get about exactly 1,080 miles. This means that the total diameter of the moon at the equator is just about exactly 2,160 miles. This differs slightly than the value you get when you simply look up the diameter of the moon. It'll actually tell you it's 2159. But a close deep dive into the numbers will reveal almost exactly 2,160 at the equator. In numerology, the number 2,160 represents 216. The number 216, significant because of its factorization. 216 is 6 times 6 times 6. In English gematria, the phrase mathematics of the circle sums to 216. The same phrase in Latin gematria equals 666. Now, if you were to take the number 666 and flip it upside down, you would get the number 999. Using the alphabetic order, the moon equals 90. If you reverse the alphabetic order so that Z gets 1, Y gets 2, X gets 3, all the way through A is 26, the moon equals 99. So how interesting is this? 90 and 99, a lot like the numbers 666 turned upside down. Another gematria cipher that's very significant is called Satanic gematria. Of course, in the book of Revelation, it's revealed that the number of the beast is 666. 666 has a unique mathematical property in that it's a triangular number. I did make a mistake and put prime, but this is wrong. This is actually the 36th triangular number. If you add every number 1 through 36, the sum is 666. Satanic gematria begins with the letter A as 36. The last letter in this cipher, Z, gets 61. Now, 61 is a prime number. That would be the 18th prime number. 18 is the sum of 6 plus 6 plus 6. And if you use this cipher and type out Satanic gematria, you find you get a numeric value of 666. The word moon in this cipher equals 197. Remember, this was the ordinal value of February 18th, the date written 218, which is the Hebrew value of moon. Perhaps the most important thing to understand about the moon and its numerology is something called the Metonic cycle. The Metonic cycle is a period of 19 years that syncs up almost perfectly with 235 lunar phases. Here we see a connection between the sun and the moon through the alphabet. Consider this number, 19 years. And think about how the sun begins with the letter S, which is the 19th letter in the alphabet. 19 is also a prime number, the 8th prime number. And if you reverse the alphabetic order, you find that S is the 8th letter. Furthermore, the sun is the 19th card of the tarot deck. And just to bring up a point about the tarot, Here we're talking about simple English gematria. The word simple equals 74. So does the word English, 74. The word gematria, 74. Think about this as a Jewish practice. Jewish equals 74. Here we're using Jewish gematria as well. The word tarot also has a gematria of 74. So a lot of this occulted knowledge certainly hidden within the tarot deck as well. And to further build the connection between the sun and the moon through the numbers, the Roman numeral 19 is XIX, which has the same gematria as moon in the alphabetic order and in both reduction methods. The Metonic cycle is credited to a Greek astronomer named Meton. In the alphabetic order, Meton equals 67. 67 is the Greek gematria of the word moon, using the alphabetic order. And in reduction, total solar eclipse sums to 67. The Metonic cycle can be used to predict eclipses, and we're going to discuss how eclipses, tied in with the Metonic cycle through the numbers in this video. Now, 67 is a prime number, and check this out, it's the 19th prime number. Again, 19 years in the Metonic cycle. And to show you how significant the number 19 is in gematria, think about this. 67, the 19th prime number, if you add 67 plus 19, this sums to 86. In English, the numeric value of the word 19 is 86. When you write out 19 years in Hebrew gematria, you get this value of 2305 using the Sophit's method. And this is significant because there's 235 synodic months in the Metonic cycle. If you add the 19 years to 235 synodic months, you get 254, which is the number of sidereal months in the Metonic cycle. The word time sums to 254 in extended. But there's a lot more to do with the number 19 here in all of our languages. In Greek, the word time equals 109 and 1090 in isopsephy. The word moon equals 19 in reduction. So does the word clock. Think about the moon as the big clock in the sky. In Hebrew, total solar eclipse sums to 109. And using the reverse order, the term solar eclipse equals 190. All of these languages, attribute 19 as a significant number for time. In English, moon equals 21 in reduction and 57 in ordinal. Intriguingly, these are the same numbers as the word clock in Hebrew. Think about how most clocks are circles. The word circle in Hebrew sums to 17 and 44. In English, 17 and 44 are the numeric values of the word clock. In regards to the 57, the Metonic cycle in Greek is called aniadecateris, which sums to 57. This is also the ordinal value of eclipse in Hebrew. So here's where it gets the most interesting to me. Again, looking at the Metonic cycle, which has 235 synodic months over the course of 19 years. In order to achieve 235, we figure that 12 of these 19 years have 12 lunar phases. The other 7 have 13 lunar phases. So the formula to achieve 235 is 19 times 12 plus 7. Using the alphabetic order, the phrase Metonic cycle equals 127. Using the reverse alphabetic order, Metonic cycle equals 197. And isn't it interesting how this formula here, 19 times 12 plus 7, appears in both of these numbers in one way or another? Again, the Metonic cycle is a period of 19 years, which also in reverse sums to 197. Every 19 years, 7 of them have a 13th month. And when we say month here, we're talking about a lunar phase. Not only does the word 13th equal 127, like Metonic cycle in the alphabetic order, but 13th month equals 197, just like Metonic cycle, just like 19 years. 197 is a prime number. That's the 45th prime number. In both reduction methods, the word 13 has a gematria value of 45. When you write out the numbers 127 and 197, you get ordinal values of 280 and 260. In Hebrew, total solar eclipse equals 280. In Greek, total solar eclipse sums to 260. Think about the date written 1/27, January 27th. Notice how when you spell this out, it has matching gematria with the word pi. And towards the end of this video, we'll be looking more closely at how the calendar codes pi into the dates as well. But first, let's again look at the gematria of Metonic cycle. 127 ordinal, 197 reverse. Think about the 127th day of the year. This date is written 5/7. Remember, moon equals 57 in the alphabetic order. Meanwhile, the 197th day of the year is July 16th. And using the standard reduction method, July 16th sums to 57. Again, thinking about the date written, 1/27, this would be the 27th of January. Notice how in the reverse alphabetic order, 27th of January sums to 283. 283 is also the gematria of February 26th, which is the 57th day of the year. Remember, moon equals 57. In Jewish gematria, the moon equals 283. In Hebrew, the moon equals 223. And think about the date written, 2/23. 23rd of February in the English alphabetic order sums to 283. Now what about the date written, 28/3? That would be March 28th. In reduction, March 28th equals 90. 90 is the English gematria of the moon. Looking back at the number 57, the ordinal gematria of moon, the 57th prime number is 269. Now there's a very special alignment in the calendar. The date written 26/9, the 26th of September, is also the 269th day of the year. And there's no other date on the calendar that has this type of direct alignment. When you write out 26th of September, in reverse, it sums to 283, just like 27th of January, the date written 1/27. You may also notice that I included the English ordinal value of these two dates, both of these dates summing to 311. I find this to be significant because the moon is approximately 3/11ths the width of the Earth. In the standard reduction method, the word moon equals 21. The 21st day of the year is January 21st. In the alphabetic order, January 21st equals 269. Again, the 57th prime number. The only other date with ordinal gematria of 269 is September 23rd. Now, September 23rd is another special date. Notice how 923 leaves 99 days in the year. Using the reverse alphabetic order, the moon equals 99. And just think about how this date is written, 9/23. Well, 23 is the 9th prime number. So not only does this date leave 99 days in the year, but when you break it down to prime numbers, this date is essentially 9/9. When you write out the number 99, it even sums to 57 in reduction, our moon number. The only number using the alphabetic order that sums to 99 is 13, a number that we've established being very closely connected to the moon. Not only does the moon have 13 lunar phases every couple of years, but think about how the word moon begins with the letter M, which is the 13th letter in the alphabet, and then it ends with the letter N, which is the 13th letter in the alphabet using the reverse order. "99 is a number that's very significant to the mathematics of the circle. In reduction, mathematics of the circle equals 99. There's only two other numbers that sum to 99 when spelled out. Both of these are in the reverse alphabetic order. The first one is 11. And this is significant because if you multiply 13 times 11, you get 143, which is the Hebrew gematria of the word circle. Notice how in ordinal, circle equals 44. The only other number that sums to 99 in the reverse alphabetic order is 44. Now, what about the 143rd day of the year? We know this number is significant to the circle. Well, look at this. The 143rd day of the year is May 23rd, written 5/23. Now, 523 is the 99th prime number. So this circles right back around to the number 13. When you write May 23rd as it's spelled, using the alphabetic order, we get a value of 205. In numerology, this is a lot like the number 25. And 25 is the ordinal gematria of the word pi, which is, of course, used to resolve the mathematics of the circle. Looking again at the number 99, the 99th day of the year is April 9th. April 9th is written 4/9. The 49th prime number is 227, and this perhaps the most significant number of all in relationship to the circle. First of all, think about how many degrees are in a circle. This would be 360. Using the alphabetic order, 360 sums to 227. If you have a Windows keyboard, you'll find that Alt plus 227 gives you the pi symbol. If you were to take a calculator and divide 22 by 7, you'll see that it's the smallest equation you can use to get the first three digits of pi, 3.14. This relationship is further cemented using the alphabetic order. If you write out 22 divided by 7, this sums to 314 in ordinal. This number 227 is all over the place. All you have to do is have eyes to see it. Think about the movie Life of Pi. The boy in that film survives 227 days following a shipwreck. As we mentioned, pi equals 25. But if you look more closely, you'll find that this number is also significant, 169. The letter P is the 16th letter. The letter I is the 9th letter, 169. Well, 169 has a square root of 13. We've been discussing throughout this entire video how important 13 is to this riddle. The first number, when spelled out, that sums to 227 in the alphabetic order is 130, a number which in numerology represents 13. In Jewish or Latin gematria, the word 13, when spelled out, equals 347. 347 is also a prime number, the 69th. And in that same method, the word pi equals 69. So the date written, 16/9, this would be September 16th. Using the alphabetic order, September 16th equals 227. The 169th day of the year is June 18th. In reverse, June 18th equals 227. Notice how the word 18th on its own equals 169. Using the reverse alphabetic order, 13 equals 117. And think about the date that's written, 1/17. That would be January 17th, which is the first date on the calendar that sums to 227 in the alphabetic order. January 17th is also the 17th day of the year. In Hebrew reduction, the word circle equals 17. When you write out January 7th, in Jewish gematria, this sums to 2,270, a lot like the number 227. 17 is also the gematria of moon, if we were to take the Jewish method and reduce each value to a single digit. Furthermore, in standard Jewish gematria, the word moon equals 170. This 17-17 connection is very interesting because think about how Freemasonry was founded under a full moon in the year 1717. Well, if you multiply 17 by 17, you get a product of 289. This is the Hebrew gematria of the phrase full moon. But this also brings us back to the date February 18th. Remember, in Hebrew, moon equals 218. And in reverse, February 18th equals 289. Speaking of the number 227 and its relationship to the circle, what about the date that's written, 2/27? That would be February 27th. First of all, in reduction, February 27th equals 98, which is the same as 3.14. This is cool because 22 divided by 7 gives us 3.14. When you write out February 27th, using the reverse alphabetic order, you get 271. 271 is the 58th prime number, and February 27th just happens to be the 58th day of the year. If you're to flip the calendar around, you find that February 27th leaves 307 days left on the calendar. The 307th prime number is 2027. In numerology, here we see another 227. And think about the phrase 22 divided by 7, which sums to 314 in ordinal. If you're to reverse the alphabet, you'll see that 22 divided by 7 equals 307. And again, the date 227 leaves 307 days in the year. This 58-307 connection, further attributed in Freemasonry. Freemasonry equals 58. And then in Jewish gematria, the word Freemason equals 307. Real quickly, I just want to show you that this is the file I used to make this presentation. I literally gematrinated every single date on the calendar using these primary gematria methods. And we're looking at all the dates that have these values. For instance, we're going to cover every single date that sums to 227. We also looked at every date that sums to 283. And that one was both in ordinal and reverse. All right, so back to the last slide here. I just wanted to cover the rest of the dates that sum to 227. The first one here is September 20th. This date is written 9/20, a lot like the number 92. The word circle in Greek equals 92. The next date that sums to 227 in ordinal is December 29th. Now think about how this date is written, 12/29. Here we have the digits 229, and 229 is the 50th prime number. The word circle equals 50 in ordinal. Finally, the next date that sums to 227 is December 31st, which is the final date of the year. And this is fitting for a word that, or for a number that represents the circle, as one can say that the calendar has come full circle once you reach December 31st. All right, so that'll do it for this video, guys. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you appreciate some of this research, as I feel like this is essentially proof that the numbers of the moon, the gematria of the word moon, all of this had everything to do with the construction of our calendar. And I'll be the first to tell you, it's hard to conceive for me how this is even possible. You know, this calendar was crafted back in the 1700s, actually the late 1500s, I think early 1600s. And it seems like we would need computers to figure all of that out. So absolutely, it's the calendar itself is based on the sun, just as Zach threw down in the chat. But what I want to point out in this video is that the sun and the moon both had everything to do with it. So again, thanks everybody for checking this out. And yeah, that'll do it. Adios.